What's up, y'all? Yungjamez coming at you. I'm back in Chicago. I want to respond to a question that I got on my YouTube today. This gentleman actually responded in the comments, but I wanted to make a video and expound a little bit more on my points. This gentleman commented on my most recent video where I was talking about biking and being back home in Chicago to get my new visa. This guy said, "Hey bro, just found your channel today." His name is Yabuki4608, by the way. He says, "Hey bro, just found your channel today and am binging all your vids. You have a sick ass channel and will for sure blow up soon." Thank you, brother. Since we're both in our mid-20s, I was curious if you ever feel like you're running out of time even though you're still pretty young. Like there are things you should have done by your age that you haven't yet. If so, how do you deal with those kinds of thoughts? Keep up the great work, man. First of all, Yabuki, thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother. You must have a massive python in your pants because that was a really nice comment and you found my channel. So anyways, when you say there are things that you should have done by your age that you haven't yet, do you mean things that I should have done by society's standards? Like society expects you to graduate college by 22 or 24 or whatever, or get a house or be in a relationship, something like that? Or do you mean should have done in terms of like things that I always dreamed that I would do or things that I wanted to do in my life? Because those are two very different things. So first of all, we'll tackle part A, which would be society's standards or society's expectations of you. I'm assuming you're talking about like college, having a good job, maybe having kids, or being in a relationship. I'm 28 now, by the way. A lot of people keep asking me in every goddamn video how old I am. I am 28. I know I don't look it, but I am 28. And frankly, dude, no. I mean, I always say this. When I say like, no, I don't care about this at all, I don't give a single fuck, I don't give any fucks, I give zero fucks. Obviously, do I think it's actually humanly possible to give actually zero fucks? No, it is not possible. But I give fewer fucks than just about anybody about what society thinks about me or about what society has planned for me, expects of me in my mid-20s, because like, let's see, like 20 years old to 30 years old are like the most important times of your life in many people's eyes, right? Like in terms of how much change you go through and what you're expected to do. And I just don't give a fuck. What's important to me is how I feel, and there are a lot of people. Like, I always think of this, this example always comes to mind when people say, like, I don't give a fuck what society thinks about me. And yes, you do give a fuck what society thinks about you. And those are the people that, like, put an image in your head of the first person that comes to mind when someone says, like, I don't give a fuck about society, fuck them, I don't give a fuck what they think. It's always, like alternative, like punk rocker, like stoner type guys, and you have an image in your head, I'm sure. They always look like polar opposites of, the office guy, the guy who wears khakis and boat shoes, named Connor, who wears fucking polo shirts and goes golfing on Sundays. It's the polar opposite type of guy who says, I don't give a fuck about society, I don't care what you. But I bet you have an image of what they look like in the head. They're maybe wearing those Rasta, like fucking weed, I don't remember what they call them, like those stoner hoodies. You guys know what I'm talking about. They have like the Rasta colors and they got like stoner hoodie, or they have dreadlocks and they have piercings. And basically the point I'm getting at is they always have a look to them. They always have a look of standing out look. So as much as you say you don't give a fuck about what society thinks, then why the fuck are you trying to put on a look so hard? If you truly don't give a fuck what people think and what society thinks, you would just be yourself, man. You wouldn't be trying to fit into the I don't give a fuck about society look. You would just dress how the fuck you want. And is it possible that a lot of those people, probably that's literally just how they want to look, just for themselves? I mean, sure, somebody, but come on, let's be honest. We all know you're playing an act. We all know you're trying to get looks from people. So you do give a fuck what they think. But anyways, digress. Kind of a long ass dumb rant, but I don't really give a fuck what people expect of me. Truthfully, since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a professional athlete, professional baseball player or basketball player, mainly baseball player. I pitched in high school. I was alright. And yeah, so I was a pitcher on the baseball team. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And then, I don't know, sophomore year, I was always into music, man. Since I was a kid, I was into like punk rock music and shit like that, and I always dreamt about being in a band and like envisioned myself. Whenever I was listening to music, I envisioned myself being like the guy singing the words or like playing up on stage in front of a bunch of people. So then like halfway through high school, I was just like I can't fucking live with this thought in my head anymore of like, I want to be a rocker, like I want to sing music, I want to be a musician, I want to be a rock star. I can't fucking live with myself anymore if I don't pursue that, even though I had like no real musical experience. So sophomore year, I fucking quit the baseball team. Everyone was triggered. I was like the one spot pitcher, like the number one pitcher kind of, I guess, on the baseball team. Everyone was like, man, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you're not a musician. And I was like, man, fuck you, dude. I remember the baseball coach telling me, like, you're going to regret this. Like, when you get older, you're going to regret this. Holy shit, I never regretted that for a second, man. I quit the baseball team, and I just started pursuing music. I went on Facebook, like Facebook music groups, and I started, like, searching, like, who's in my area and who wants to start a band in this type of genre. I eventually met some dudes, and, like, a couple years later, we fucking played sold-out shows. We went on, out-of-state shows. I accompanied bands on small tours. I filled in for a bunch of bands singing in different states all across the US. We played to 300 people plus multiple times. And then, eventually I realized what the band musician lifestyle was. And it's literally like being homeless. You have no money. You can't keep stable relationships. It sucks, more or less. Even the rockers who are doing pretty well, musicians who are on tour like 8 months out of the year are taking home like 20 grand for the entire year, and that's a lot. And to get to that level, it requires so much fucking luck. Like it's nuts, and it's just not worth it. So anyways, the point I'm getting at is I pursued my dream. I chased something that I was thinking about forever, and then I realized it wasn't what I wanted to do in the end. But I realized that, and I got it out of my system. And of course, if I did like play more music sometime soon or in the future, would it be fun as fuck? Yes. Like that's one of the highest highs you can possibly have, singing to a crowd of people and people singing the lyrics that you wrote back to you. By the way, my band's name was Mishandled. If you guys want to look up Mishandled, that was my band's name. We have some music videos online, but anyways, Mishandled. We played a bunch of shows, and like I got that shit out of my system. Would I love to do it again? Of course I would, but I got it out of my system. If I don't ever do it again in my life, I will be content. But I knew when I was in high school that I would never fucking be able to live with myself if I didn't pursue that shit. And then my baseball coach was telling me, you're gonna regret this, bro, you're gonna regret this. Guess what? I'm 28 now, and I haven't regretted it even fucking once. Like, some people are coming down here. So the point I'm getting at, so anyways, then, what happens? I pursued music until I was 22, 23, 24, something like that. Band kind of fizzled out, got sick of it, got burnt out. I kind of realized what it was, and then I was thinking, what do I do now? And I always had this dream about traveling. I remember telling myself, like, all these people, everybody that I went to high school with, everybody that I know, people in my family, have all lived in the same small town outside of Chicago for their entire lives. And I guess they're just content. I guess they just think, like, there's nothing else out there for them. And hey, if they are content, if they genuinely are happy doing that for the rest of their lives, then that's great, and I'm super envious of that. But I always felt like I wasn't content. I always felt like I have to do more. There's more out there for me. How can I possibly feel like I've lived my life to the fullest in this same town? Like, what kind of doors would open for me if I went to a different country, the people I could meet, the paths that I could pursue? Like, who knows what could happen? And I just remember thinking that, like, going to bed every night thinking, like, there's got to be more out there for me. There's got to be something else I can do. I also, by the way, a little side note, I also remember always telling myself that, like if anyone knows me, like, in person, I'm super introverted. Like, I never fucking say anything. And I think that's because the way I grew up, like, most of my family talks a lot, and I just don't say anything. So I've always thought, like, I have a lot to say, but I don't have anywhere to say it. And I don't have anywhere to, like, put it out into the world. So I've always thought that I want to start videos and just talk about, like, anything. Just talk about thoughts that are on my mind, because really, like, it seems like a lot of times nobody fucking listens to anything I have to say. Nobody cares about anything I have to say. So I'm glad that I'm just putting my videos out there. And getting to the point here, when COVID happened, I mean, I know everybody, including myself, went through a whole bunch of, like, mental health crises. and everyone's sitting at home, locked at home every day, and people had to get real honest with themselves and look themselves in the mirror and say, what the fuck am I doing with my life, Maybe that job that you've been going back and forth to for the last 5 years, and it's been fine, but you don't love it, but it's been fine. You're getting along when you're not going to that job, and then you sit down for a few weeks or months, during COVID, and it's only you and your thoughts. You realize, dude, you are not okay with your life. You are not happy. What else can I be doing? How can I be chasing happiness in this life? And I definitely had that thought, and I remember, like I said, I remember always thinking like, dude, I want to travel. I want to see what other opportunities there are out there in the world for me. And I just said, like, fuck it, dude. I've been saving up my money forever. Like, I'm just like naturally a saver. I hate spending money, and I've been saving up my money forever, and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to save it for. And I remember thinking, like, dude, if I apply to fucking language school in Japan, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to put my foot in the door somewhere. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but I'm just going to do something there. I'm going to get to language school. I'm going to either find a job. Maybe I'll find a woman that I love. Maybe I'll start a YouTube or like Twitch streaming channel, and I'll get super popular off that. Maybe I'll start another band out there. I knew people in the music scene a little bit. I just remember thinking, like, no matter what I do here in America, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to be satisfied working at the restaurant that I've been working at. I fucking hate school. I'm not going back to school, especially around these dumbass American professors who, by the way, like, can we all just agree that, like, university professors are fucking ridiculous, and so many of them think they're so much smarter than you just because you're a student, which is ridiculous. Like, we're all grown adults, man. Anyways, like, no matter, even if I, move to a different city within America, I remember thinking, like, I wouldn't be content. I want to get uncomfortable. I've been doing the same routine, living the same life, doing the same bullshit for so many years. I'm sick of this shit. I just want to get the fuck out. I want to get to the absolute highest level of discomfort that I can right now, and I want to just go on a crazy ass adventure. And you know what? And if nothing happens, if no doors open themselves for me, no paths reveal themselves to me, then at least I'll know I got it out of my system. I'll have plenty of stories to tell. I'll have a crazy worldview. I will have learned so many interesting and new and incredible things. I'll have skills that I can take back to America when I'm finished. And even if I get back there, like I said, all of that happens and nothing comes from it, I'll still be in my late 20s back in America in an incredibly free country with at least still like $1,000 in my pocket. I can just get a job at a restaurant, work hard as fuck for like 6 months, save up like $20K, and I can go back to school then. FAFSA takes care of you here. I can pay for an in-state school, and I can get my degree, and I'll be in the same position that many people are. And then I'll also know that I have that out of my system. I got out this idea that, like, hey, I need to explore new paths in my 20s, hopefully be content. So, dude, I always have those thoughts. These thoughts of there are things that I should be doing, the paths that I should be pursuing, there are dreams that I should be chasing. If that's what you're talking about, dude, I have those thoughts every single day, man. And the only way to remedy that is to chase them, is to go after them. Obviously, don't be a dumbass. If you're 40-something years old with a wife and kids, and you've always been thinking, hey, I've always thought I want to move to Thailand and purchase a wife and start a new life in Thailand. Don't just fucking pack up your shit and leave your kids and your wife at home, dude. No. Obviously, if you have a family, if you have kids, too late, buddy. You made your bed in LA, and you have a priority, you have a responsibility to take care of your wife and your kids and your family. But if you guys are young, if you guys don't have commitments like a family, you gotta chase your dreams, or else you are going to be that dad who has a midlife crisis, loses his fucking mind, and then abandons his family trying to chase old dreams that you should have chased when you're healthy, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, when you can enjoy them to the fullest extent. Because then you're going to fucking leave your family at home, and they're going to be wondering where you are, and you're going to create a bunch of fucked up children. So, I guess that's kind of that rant. Do I care about what society thinks of me? Do I care about, people expecting me to have a good job and be graduated from college right now? Obviously, for myself, no, I don't give a fuck. Has it, somewhat come back to bite me in the ass in Japan, you know, with like finding a job out there and staying in Japan. Of course, because, you know, I need a bachelor's degree to stay in Japan longer, which is why I'm going to school now. But it's fine. I don't mind going to school now. I have a better head on my shoulders. I'm more committed now. I don't think I would have taken it seriously if I went to college back then. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. Now that I've been around the world and I've explored Japan, and I realize like how much I enjoy speaking Japanese and learning the culture in Japan and getting out and traveling, I actually like found a major that I'm interested in. If you would have asked me like even up to like 2 years ago when I was like 26, like what I want to do in school, I would say nothing. I fucking hate school. Nothing is interesting to me at all. But now that I've actually had this life experience and I've gone out and I've done shit, I've learned that like, hey, this major, international business, actually sounds pretty interesting. And you know, I believe me, is not my dream. My dream, not even for a second, is like working under someone else or, you know, being a businessman. But I don't mind it. I don't mind. It's at least interesting enough for me to, like, you know, as a gateway to continue staying in Japan. I don't mind studying it, and you know, I'm kind of excited to continue my studies and continue living in Japan. I mean, I guess goal A right now is just continue grinding, putting out content while I'm in Japan and while I'm in America, just kind of the grind lifestyle. I don't know if I'm necessarily like a manosphere or like a grind set YouTuber or what, if you guys want to put me in a box, or I'm like a J-tuber, like a Japan YouTuber, but whatever I am, I appreciate you guys watching me. Please post more comments in my videos. Guys, ask me something. If you guys want to join my Discord, we're having a lot of useful information in there. We're going to start doing some meetups soon once the weather gets warmer, once I get back to Japan. I'm really stoked about that. And thank you guys so much for always supporting me. I apologize, the uploads haven't been super consistent while I've been here in the US, but thank you. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep working hard, and message me on Instagram or some shit. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.